through, I'm subbing in for Ralph Myers, who is fittingly stuck in Sydney working on a show. So I thought I would write to Ralph, to an imaginary Ralph, 10 years from time. Dear Ralph, hope all's well at the National. Season looks great. Hope they aren't freaking out too much about all the Antipodeans you're importing. You're lucky that the flow of artists is going in all directions, and I know you'll be home soon. Thanks for the emerging writers you sent to the playwriting incubator. Rita Calniers and Lally Katz tell me they're a really great bunch, although apparently Lally got a little bit embarrassed when one of the Chinese kids asked her what she thought her role was in the golden age of Australian playwriting. I'm pleased to report that all is well here. Rachel Mazza and Kyle Morrison's third season at the National Indigenous Theatre Company is looking fabulous. They've just gotten their first National State Theatre Company tour up, so the show will be nicely run in by the time it gets to you. Do you realise it's 10 years since your first season at Belvoir? I looked at the date the other day and it got me thinking. We were so excited about the generational change happening then, and now it's us who are the old guard. Remember the Steinbeck quote we put in the season book? Theatre is the only institution in the world that has been dying for 4,000 years and has never succumbed. And here we are, still resolutely analogue and intimate. Although I am pleased to report that the little school we visited at Coonamble now has a choice of literally hundreds of theatre companies and independent artists to choose from to stream plays and virtual workshops. You will be pleased to hear, though, that once the kids and their families get a taste for the work, they can vote to have the shows come to them. Sometimes it feels as though half the country's on tour, both from cities to the regions and from regional Australia into the cities. Thank God, or Navratilova, the Labor Party finally got over their angst about excellence. Do you remember we had to dress everything we did up as just delivering on social policy agenda? The hoops we had to jump through. The Coalition and the Greens were always a little bit more inclined to give arts for its own sake a go, and in Labor's defence there's been precious little to complain about of late from any of them. Speaking of which, have you spoken to our illustrious Minister of Culture recently? They've just added tourism to Wesley Enoch's portfolio. I know it's making some people nervous, but I actually think that tourism, particularly in terms of how we project ourselves internationally, is so related to how we see ourselves that it makes a lot of sense. It is making for the longest department acronym in the history of the bureaucracy, though. The Department of Arts, Culture, Tourism, Sport, Communications and Multitasking, Cultural Diplomacy and Cultural Trade. DACT, Scam, Act, DACT. Even in Canberra, that is a mouthful. You know that both the US and Germany are trialling Wesley's Groupon idea of ways of getting tours up. He's muttering about wishing that he'd investigated copyright, but I think he's actually pretty chuffed. Anyway, I'd better run. Say hi to Anthea for me. I hope she's enjoying being back in London. I hear Candy Bowers is doing really well in her old job at Belvoir and having a great time. Love to George and see you soon. Bren.
Thank you.